Gil Martin here, and welcome everybody to today's episode of the Daily Packers Post, where we bring you in-depth coverage of your Green Bay Packers. We have new videos dropping every day, Monday through Friday, so hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Don't forget to check out our website at thepackerspost.com for in-depth articles on the Packers Monday through Saturday. Today, we take a look at 10 things we learned from the Packers' 27-23 win over the Arizona Cardinals. Big games for Micah Parsons and Josh Jacobs. It wasn't always pretty, but the Packers improved to 4-1-1 with the win, and 27 points just seems to be the total that the offense always seems to come up with these days. First of all, Micah Parsons comes up big for the Packers. He entered this game with just 2.5 sacks, even though he was putting regular pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Well, in this game, he had 3 quarterback sacks, outpacing his entire total for the year. He also had 5 hits, according to the official box score, and a lot of pressures. He was relentless. He used leverage to get low and small and beat offensive linemen off the edge, or used his quickness to get them up the middle. Quay Walker also did a good job of pressuring the passer. Jeff Hafley brought some interesting blitz packages at different times. Packers finished the game with 6 sacks, 12 quarterback hits, and it was enough to keep Arizona from scoring touchdowns. They did get more field goals, and it was enough for Green Bay to win the football game. Number 2, Josh Jacobs overcame pain and was able to be at least productive in a limited role. The Packers weren't sure if Jacobs was healthy enough to go. He was a game time decision, but he did end up playing, only carried 13 times, but averaged 4.2 yards per attempt, gaining 55 yards, and he scored 2 rushing touchdowns for the 3rd consecutive game, including the game winner, which came with less than 2 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Jacobs clearly not 100%, but he gutted one out for the team and did just enough for the Packers to earn their first road win this season. Number 3, the penalties and mental errors are still a problem for the Green Bay Packers. It's been an issue all year long, and in this game, 10 penalties for 94 yards, and that's only the penalties that were accepted in this game. So many of them mental errors, like Rasheed Walker, the starting left tackle, being called for not lining up on the line of scrimmage. So it was an illegal formation penalty. Malik Heath lining up in the neutral zone. Just too many mental mistakes. Out of the 10 penalties that the Packers committed, 5 of them led to first downs by the Arizona Cardinals. Special teams penalties, which have been a problem for many years, continued to hurt the Packers' field position and momentum. And this is something that the Packers, if they want to go from a team that is eking out wins to a team that can be successful in the playoffs and be more dominant, they have got to clean up the penalties and not be their own worst enemy. Number 4, the play calling remains an issue and is inconsistent. The Packers offense, they knew Josh Jacobs wasn't 100%, but they never really found a way to get into a consistent rhythm in this game. Matt LaFleur made some curious play calls. The biggest one, I think, or the most obvious one, I should say. Coming on the first drive, Packers have 3rd and 4 at the Cardinals 37, down 3-0. LaFleur calls a timeout and then called a slow developing wide running play to Emmanuel Wilson that loses a yard. And if they were going to run the ball on 3rd and 4, a quicker developing play like a draw or a trap would have made more sense. The draw would have at least been a little more deceptive. This slow developing play allowed the linebackers and the safeties to get up to the line of scrimmage and make the tackle. The Packers then go for it on 4th down, and Jordan Love barely overthrew Romeo Doubs on a long pass. Doubs was open, and the Packers turn the ball over on downs. For the game, Green Bay gains only 262 net yards, and it just wasn't a strong performance by the offense. The play calling, it just needs to be smarter and more efficient and more consistent. And that is something that has been hampering this team this season quite often. Number 5, Nate Hobbs struggled. Now, Hobbs playing through a knee injury. He was another player who we weren't sure about his status earlier in the week, but he was beaten early and often by the Arizona receivers. Marvin Harrison literally turned Hobbs around on a 22-yard reception. Later on 3rd and 14, Harrison burns Hobbs again, and it's a 35-yard gain and a first down. And then on the second touchdown catch by tight end Trey McBride, Hobbs made a token effort at best to try to tackle McBride at the 1 or 2 yard line. I understand he's hurt. I understand McBride is a little bigger than Hobbs, but you've got to try to keep him out of the end zone. Obviously, Hobbs dealing with the injury, but at some point you would think that Jeff Hafley or Matt LaFleur would have said, maybe we should be putting Carrington Valentine into the game a little bit more because Hobbs is just not effective. Hopefully Hobbs' health improves and he can get back on track. Number 6, Tucker Kraft, Romeo Doubs, both receivers coming through in the clutch. It's always receiver by committee in Green Bay, but this week the matchups led us to love finding Kraft and Doubs. Kraft gets the only receiving touchdown of the game, and he also came up with a clutch 22-yard catch. 4 of his 5 receptions resulted in first downs. Meanwhile, Doubs, 6 catches for 72 yards, both team leading statistics, and he made a huge catch right before the half to set up a field goal with 1 second left in order to get Green Bay back to within 1 score. It was a momentum changer for sure. And look, these were the players Love was looking for in this game, and they have both been the team's most consistent receivers throughout this season. Number 7, the defense finally forced a fumble and created a turnover. Packers entered this game with 2 interceptions and no fumble recoveries through their first 5 games, but that changed in the third quarter. Rashawn Gary sacks Jacoby Brissett, knocks the ball out. Evan Williams falls on it, and Green Bay takes over at the Arizona 44. 2 completions to Doubs, 1 to Matthew Golden, and then it's Josh Jacobs with a 7-yard touchdown run. The game is tied 13-13, and that was a big momentum swing because the Packers, they were down 13-6. The Cardinals were moving the ball, and all of a sudden, instead of potentially being down 2 scores, the game ends up being tied. Now, 3 turnovers in 6 games, not going to get the job done, but this hopefully will be the start of increased turnovers for the Green Bay Packers. Number 8, 4th down was important in this game on both sides of the ball. The Packers went for it on 4th down 3 times. They were successful twice. We talked about the first time that they went for it, which was on that opening drive and did not work on the long pass that Doubs just couldn't quite reach. But, a big 4th down conversion on the final drive, the throw to Kraft for 15 yards on 4th and 2 was very important. And then defensively, with little less than 6 minutes left in the 4th quarter, the Cardinals go for it on 4th and 1. Brissett tries a quarterback sneak up the middle, and Isaiah McDuffie leads a host of tacklers who stop it. And this was huge. The defensive line got penetration, pushed back the blockers, and it wasn't even close to a first down. The Packers scored the game-winning touchdown after that stop because that drive started with a short field. Number 9, Lucas Havrisik sets a new record by kicking a 61-yard field goal on the final play of the first half. Brandon McManus still unable to go, and Havrisik kicking for the second straight game, perfect on his field goals and extra points for the second straight game. And the old record was a 58-yarder by Mason Crosby against the Vikings in 2011. This kick made it a one-score game before halftime, and it was a great response after the Cardinals had just made it a 13-3 game. Pulling back to within one score helped give the Packers some momentum heading into the locker room. Havrisik, probably not going to be a Packer once McManus returns, but I'll tell you something, he will have no difficulty finding another NFL job if he keeps kicking like this, and he certainly has now left his impression on the Packers record book. And number 10, bring on Aaron Rodgers, the 4-1-1 Packers. First place in the NFC North, but not a lot of margin for error. Next week, they head to Pittsburgh to face the 4-2 Steelers on Sunday Night Football, and that will be the first meeting between the Packers and former four-time MVP, future Hall of Fame quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Too bad this game isn't at Lambeau. That would have given it even more juice. But the drama of Rodgers facing the Packers for the first time, it's going to be must-see TV for Packer fans and football fans everywhere. So that should be an exciting game. Again, check out our website at thepackerspost.com for in-depth articles on the Packers. And here on YouTube, hit the like button and subscribe to the Daily Packers Post so you never miss an episode. We are growing steadily, and we hope to encourage people to subscribe and just grow this community of Packer fans everywhere. I'm Gil Martin. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Daily Packers Post. Have a good day, stay safe, and of course, go Pack Go.